Hi, welcome to an introduction to Google Drive. Once you've navigated your way to Google Drive, there are a couple of options for how your drive can look for you. Your items can be listed in List View, or by clicking this button here, they can be displayed in Grid View, which I think is a little more condensed and easier to navigate with. On the left hand side here, you can click the New button to create new documents, folders, sheets, and what have you. Your personal drive, the Shared With Me, which is where all the items that you receive an email saying that something's been shared with you, this is where they're housed. Recent documents that you've worked on, starred documents are the ones that you've made important to yourself, and the trash. Let's take a look here at the Shared With Me. If there's an item in the Shared With Me that you work on all the time and you feel it would be better suited to be in your own personal drive, there are a couple of options to get it into your own drive. You can either click and drag the item to wherever you want it to be housed in your personal drive, or you can right click on the folder and add it to your drive. So that's just a little tip on the Shared With Me portion of the drive. So now back to your own personal drive. As I have mine laid out, you can see that I color coded them. You can do that by right clicking and selecting a color. You can see that some of the folders that I have little people icons, which means that they're shared. And I want to take a look today at the shared folders that I have. So click on the shared folder, and you can see that I have this folder shared with multiple people, and the owner always appears on the left hand side. That's the owner of the folder. So now if I wanted to create a new document, say I wanted to create a document in this folder, when you hit New and then the document, this box comes up and it says the created item will have the same sharing permissions as the selected folder. So everybody in this folder will be able to see and edit this document that I'm creating. And I'm going to show you in a little bit how to change that, but know that when you create the item in the folder, the permissions transfer. Alright, so when you open up the document, it looks basically like any Word document would. It has the top tabs and the editing tools. One difference is how to name the document. So you can double click on the untitled document words and enter in the title that you want for the document. Another way is by going under File and Rename. You can also, from here, just a little helpful hint there, is the page setup. Page setup is where you set your margins and the orientation of the document as well. It's just a useful thing for you to know. Alright, so now let's get back to the collaborative piece of the document. What's really great about Google Docs in general is the comments that you can make, and the notifications that you can get when you're working together. So you click on the comments, and this is where you would click your notifications. You can get notified anytime there's a change, or you can turn off the notifications if you're not interested. And you can comment. So if I were working on this document and I'm reading this and it said this is a test document, and I think it should say this is a test letter, I would highlight the word document and hit comment, because I want them to know that I think this should say letter, and I'd submit my comment. Now you can resolve it, edit it, someone can comment on my comment, and there's the collaboration piece on this one little word. Another useful tool when working collaboratively is this little button here. When normally you're in the editing mode, but if you go down to suggesting and you want to make suggestions, you say this is a test document. Well, I deleted that word and I put in the word letter, and that's exactly what it says. It says replace document with letter. And if someone goes in and agrees with me, they can click the checkbox, and that edit would take place. They wouldn't have to retype it or what have you. It's already done. You can also reply or reject as well. So now we have the document all the way you want it, and you want to change the sharing privileges for the people in the folder. You don't want them to be able to edit this particular document. So you go into the share and you click on the names of the people right here, and that'll open up the menu to change the editing features. So I can either delete or change their permissions from right here. Another useful thing to take note of is editors will be allowed to add people and change their permissions. You might not want people who are editors to be able to change other people's permissions. So you can go in and click the change, and you can make it so that only the owner can change the permissions. Just a useful tip when you're collaborating. Alright, so now let's take a look at Google Sheets. Same basic features as Google Documents, just a couple of things I thought would be pertinent and helpful when you're collaborating on the Google Sheets together. Say there were certain columns or a certain range or what have you that you didn't want anybody to touch, no matter what their regular editing privileges are on the sheet. So these two columns, A and B, I don't want anybody else to touch. I highlight those columns, I go to Data, and Protected Sheet Ranges. From there, because I selected the columns already, I click Set Permissions. And here I can take away privileges to edit those particular ranges. So no matter what their other privileges are, they can't touch that part. But say you're working on a sheet already and it's all a mess because too many hands were in it. You can still fix that. You can go to File, see Revision History, and it lists all the revisions that have been done to the document. So if there's a particular time where you know the data was valid and what you want it to be before it got all a mess, you click on the time and the date, and the Restore This Revision button appears, and you can restore the sheet back to that point in time. So a useful tip when you're working collaboratively on sheets and you think all is lost, you can just go back. So that's basically what I wanted to cover today in Google Drive. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for your time.